Codega is a guide and a storyteller, escorting you through the night, lighting the way, warding off thieves, ghosts, demons, and other oddities. Along the journey, his companions would often share with him the most curious of stories that he'd record in his Codex. Perhaps you just might find yourself traveling with the Codega and sharing one of yours.
Yeah, I'm Sean Hibbeler, CEO of Hibbeler Productions. I've been a filmmaker technically for 4 years now, but I've been making truth videos since 2016. My first YouTube upload was called Truth Does Not Fear Investigations. That we're all born with the God-given right and desire to explore, but as you see in Truman's Show, they pull that fucking map down and say, "You're too late. Everything's been explored. Sit down now, Truman." They don't want, I want to be an explorer. Yeah, no. That's why you don't hear children like, "I want to be an explorer." When was the last time you heard that? They will get
Yeah.
laughed at because the world's a ball, dude. Like, what do you mean? There's nothing to explore. Go, go pay your
I remember
taxes,
that.
do your 9 to 5. But once people realize that the exploration, there's so much to do, maybe we can get people involved again in a professional manner.
I agree. Once you get, I believe, like, from what I heard, the tipping point is like 15%. If you get like 15% of the population to agree to something, then the rest will just follow.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
What you were saying, we have this innate ability to want to explore, whether it be consciousness, our environment, love, ideas, and what they want to do is they want to encapsulate that and put that in one little box and close your mind out. And when you like what you said, it's very interesting. If they don't want you to listen to it, if they want you to listen to it, then they'd be like, yeah, it's just stupid. And that's the first thing. They laugh at you, then they yell at you, and then they give in.
I don't mind the calm show, but I want somebody yelling in my ear about the World's Fairs or something their great grandpa told them. Like, dude, like, let's go with that because
Can we get into the World's Fairs?
Say it again.
I would love to get into the World's Fairs. It's one of my favorite things, one of my absolute favorite things to talk about. Where they basically use those.
What, like 1 year, build all that shit in 1 year?
The purpose of it, what they did with it, and how they, the orphan trains and the mud floods and all that craziness. I would love to get into that a little bit.
What questions? What questions you guys have on it?
Like,
first of all, what was the purpose of the World Fair? I was thinking the World Fair was like auction off. Or like, I think at that point we had. What? Sorry.
I'll tell you the mainstream version to your audience of what they
let's hear it. Yeah.
And then what I think really is going on. The mainstream version quickly is that basically, whether it be San Francisco, Chicago, wherever the fair was, they wanted to put something together for the community and show off their architecture. They wanted to build temporary buildings out of papier-mâché and bullshit. They want to throw a bunch of stuff up to have events where people can come and see all the stuff they did. And in reality, though, those buildings were not made to be temporary. Those buildings were basically shown off to, if you look at the people that attended a lot of these fairs, a lot of top hat guys, a lot of look like high class type of people that were meeting there, gathering from around the world to come to these events. And I got some photos. Again, I'm not going to release until the film, but
yeah,
what it looks like they were doing to me was not only showing off our last civilization's technology to maybe trade amongst each other, United Nations style, where it's like, you guys want this, we want this, you want a direct energy weapon, we want church organs that heal you. So there's a lot of trading going on, I noticed, and there's a lot of showing off modern homes, meaning the actual type of structures they can build back then. So they were trying to shift the viewer, the whoever's there, to look at newer style homes, these homes that they know they can build. They're trying to basically teach the people what's to come, what's coming out of this. And then once they started to, I think it was direct energy weapons the whole time, all the wars, everything, all the buildings destroyed by direct energy weapons. It looks just like Maui when you look back. But I think the whole purpose of the World's Fairs were to paint that story for the future. So they could say, look, we built these. They were temporary. We took them down. We only kept a few. Whoa, hold on. So you built all these temporary buildings in less than a year. Okay. I don't care if it was paper mache. That's going to take you 5 years back then. But I'll give them that year of paper mache, apparently. And, stucco. I don't know what they say. It's like, and then when you look at these original photos of those older World Fairs, like the 1893, 96 with Chicago, those buildings already look old. Thought they were brand new and temporary. They already look old. They're like worn out. And the ones that they said, you know what, we voted and we're going to keep that one in this city. We're going to keep those two in that city. They're temporary, but everyone wants to keep, they like it. So we'll keep them. We're going to get rid of why'd you have to destroy the rest? Why don't you just, take them down? It's paper. What are you doing? They destroyed the rest. There's footage of that. And the residue of it all. And then you look at the buildings that survived. They're still here today. So what are you talking about? You talk about 1890s. You built a temporary structure that's only supposed to last a year or less. They took them down in 6 months, I think. Took them down. But the ones that survived are still here. So a temporary building in the 1800s can last over 100 years. But a modern day building, I thought we were evolving, remember? A modern day building lasts 50 years, So, and they're built to last forever, too, on top of it. None of these modern buildings, they're not buildings to me. There's something else. Okay. Who built them? I don't know. I wasn't there. Looks like giants, possibly a gods. I don't know. But it wasn't people like us. And there's countless amount of evidence that proves not only did they cover up their awful construction photos. The construction photos to me are worse than NASA's CGI Earth. Sorry, it's more obvious to the human mind. That's not, whether you're in a trance or not. We were all in a trance about the globe, but it still took me a week it took me a week straight of realizing, oh man, this is Photoshop, right? These clouds, like oh yeah, I turn the level up in Photoshop. Oh my God, there's a box around it. Okay, so they're pasting shit. Oh my God, this is all produced. None of this is legit. Yeah, but the construction photos from the 1800s and the early 1900s on these old world buildings, I mean, let me tell you guys, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious. And nine out of 10 of them, there's nothing but sticks. It looks like, maybe they took maybe that was their paper mache, or I look at it like popsicle sticks, and they
bamboo or something.
Yeah, well, really though, like popsicle sticks. I mean, You get professionals. Again, these aren't 10-year-olds doing it for these construction photos. You get professionals to do a model of, call it the Palace of Fine Arts or something, and they're going to model it and do all this stuff, and then take a picture with the white background because the sky's always white. They blur out everything. It's called, vanilla sky.
Dioramas.
Yeah. So, and that's it. And they got one guy with a top hat on, his hand inside his pocket, Masonic style, and he's got a shovel. Like, oh, yeah, construction. Holy shit. I see no crew. I see no tools. Oh, there weren't tools yet. Okay. So how did you make these stone pillars that look like it's one piece? And where's the pictures of the people inside the building carving all these beautiful artwork by hand, and like there's nothing. So once I realized there weren't any construction photos of the insides, because again, you could fake a bunch of outside photos, they look fake to begin with, and I'd say about 75% of them are artist impressions, even though they're on the official website as real construction, or like when I'm boots on the ground going into some of these public buildings and political. I mean, I'm not political. Sorry, what am I thinking of here?
Governmental buildings,
Capitol buildings, right? Like the old world buildings. That they'll have one or two construction photos, And then when I look online, it's an artist impression. So I'm like, wait a minute. So they're showing people artist impressions and saying it's real construction. And even the artist impression, they don't even pretend to draw people building the building. They don't pretend to have a crew. They don't pretend to have anyone has helmets on. There's nothing. Or they'll take a picture, which I could do this today. You'll see it in the film. Me and my lunch break did something like this together. Where you could just go up to any old world building right now that has they put the what do they call them, like the rafters, the things they wrap around the building.
Oh my god! So
I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the yes,
Scaffolding.
Scaffolding.
So I had a mind blank there. The scaffold. So
Yeah.
they'll just put and that's the thing. A lot of these old world construction photos from the 1800s, 1900s. That's all it is, man. It's the building's already there.
And they put the scaffolding around it. Oh,
they
wow.
put scaffolding around it. And then those of you that don't even realize that that's a lazy way to fake it, because that's for painting. Those are used for painting.
I got you to paint the building.
So,
and here's the
no, that's my point. That's all they need.
And here's the thing, Sean.
You walk into one of these buildings and you go down, hey, where's the construction photo of this? Most of them go, I don't think we have any. Oh, yeah, there's one in the lobby. Okay, one in the lobby. It either looks like they're digging out a building from the mud. I can't make this up. It either looks like 5 people are digging the building out of the mud, or it's an artist impression, or it's something along the lines of the exact building I'm standing in is all there, and they have scaffolding around it. But it says, this is them constructing the building in 1892. It's like, I see one horse, 3 guys. Why do they have suits on? They bring your suit to work day for construction with no power tools, no transportation. I understand that they discovered the train tracks of our ancestors and dug those up and started getting trains and trolleys going. I get that. So people are like, they had trains. I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but it took them a long time to dig up all these tracks, guys. So that's why most of the narrative is horses or donkeys. And when you do the math and go, wait, you look at San Francisco, for instance, and, you find a building that was claimed to be 1898, done in a year. 90% of the building is marble. Okay. You go, oh, man, we're in San Francisco. Marble? Oh, where was marble in 18 whatever, right? Whatever the year is. Where was the marble at in this world? Oh, Spain or... Okay, Spain. Okay, 750 miles away. Okay, so the horses, and the problem is the official narrative will go, hey, there's millions of pounds of stone used in this, or millions of pounds of marble use. So you have horse and buggy going 750 miles each way. How much water are they drinking? How many trips did you make? I think it would take the year that they said it took just to get 20% of the materials. Let alone design the building, have a foundation. You have no one that has experience back then. And that's why a lot of these architects, which are just Freemasons that they assign a building to that they found. But you see these architects and it's always they die and the son took over. The son never had experience.
Yeah.
Son comes in. It feels like an AI story, man, where they just kind of copy paste AI statements and put it on every building. And a lot of these Wikipedia inserts on these old world buildings have been inserted in the last 2 years because of the topic and the virality of it all. And they're like, dude, we don't have any explanation in these buildings. Put one out there. And it seems like AI is generating this because we're noticing a lot of faults in the Wikipedia box. It's like, wait, I just read that same story on a building across the world. And you go back to that building and it's like, oh, they just changed the names of the architects. It's damn near word for word, everything. And it's always the same story, meaning the architect won a contest. So they had a contest of who could build our, it was never a city hall. But that's the official story. Who's going to win a contest to build our city hall? By the way, most of these buildings were built during the Depression. So no one's going to approve millions of dollars back then to be spent on a city hall. We're in a war. And now we're in a depression. Doesn't matter. We're going to build it anyways without any evidence. We're just going to build it for everybody during wars and stuff. It makes the timelines are so lazy that once I started reading some of them, I had no other choice but to make a film, and that's why this one's gonna take a while, man. But
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard enough to prove to someone that we're not spinning. This one's a little harder for me because, everyone's involved in mainstream history, right? In a sense, everyone,
yeah.
like Columbus discovered America, but then when you ask him in reality, like, hey, off the record, Columbus didn't discover America, right? They're like, yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't, because Indians were already here. So no, I'm like, no, but you're teaching our children that still. So why are we allowing, like, it's like people cherry pick, like, yeah, I don't like, that's not a lie, but that is a lie. But it doesn't matter. Just teach it to the kids. It's like Santa Claus all over again. Just lie to the kid. They'll deal with it when they're older. Well, that's terrible. And I'm sick of the lies, man. I want people to realize that Rockefeller's education is nothing but a lie. There's no truth to it. You can't just pick. Oh, well, no, I think the Westerns were real. So, that was all real because Rockefeller said so. And I like Westerns. I love Clint Eastwood. Fuck you. I'm like, it's fine. Like, you can do that. But I discount it all. They're like, oh, that's lazy. No, it's not. I don't want to believe a liar anymore. You can't.
To cut you off, Sean.
Made to believe liars, man.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. I find your argument about these buildings and what you just said, all that way more compelling than some of the arguments for the FE. It's easier.
You don't think it's compelling, though. I love that.
No, not that. I'm just saying, for me, it's easier to digest. I don't know why, but for me, it's much because it's everything versus. It's so simple. Like if you think, because I guess the way,
I think
logistics and things like that, it makes it easier for me.
But the history is everything as well, though, too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And then
that's why I love it.
Oh, okay. And I heard you saying, I think it was on Sam's show there, that Freemasons. They're called Freemasons because they discovered it's like
the buildings were founded. I think that's the thing you said too.
Yeah, I mean they found Freemasonry. That's it's a good group name to call yourselves, bunch of fucking bozos. I don't know where they came from. That's the thing. That's people call me out like on Sam's show, like, oh, you think there was no human beings before 1850? It's like you didn't hear what I said. I was trying to tell people that it's almost impossible to find anyone in your family legitimately before 1850. Talk about family trees, ancestry, and all that. But when you go to mainstream websites and it says your family was, came to America in the 1700s, there's not much information. Then you got information on your actual great-great-grandpa, and you're tracing it like, oh, yeah, so, yeah, I mean, we were here. It's like, well, that's not evidence to me. That's a story again. There's actually no evidence that any of our family was here before the 1800s. If anything, when you look into the Cabbage Patch Kids, and the way it used to actually go down. I'm not talking about the cartoon was a spinoff. It's the same reason why. The same reason why you type in Disney Frozen and you don't find any articles on Walt Disney being frozen anymore because they made a cartoon. It's the same reason why you can't research the Black Panther movement of the African Americans.
Right, because of the movie
Black Panther. That's all you get. So yeah, and you can't find the next level because they made a Jumanji. So here's the thing, man.
There we go. Yeah.
Well, that was more of a joke, but it's the thing of they know what they're doing in the process. They know how easy it is to wake up to this stuff. So they have to eliminate search results. They don't want anyone waking up. That's the most dangerous thing, is waking up by yourself. No influence, just doing the research, cross-referencing, pretty much everything I'm doing for this film. If someone did that themselves in the way that I'm doing it, like with a open mind, thinking critically, specifically thinking logically, then anyone, it doesn't matter if your whole life was dedicated to Rockefeller's history and you taught people for 40 years, you're retired, you know everything about all this history. If you still do the cross-referencing and the research, you'll go, what the fuck is going on? Someone fucked up here because none of this makes sense. I don't look at it as just doesn't make sense. I look at it as a grand deception. So
yeah, speaking of fucking up, they must have literally, I don't know what the hell they were doing when they released or let the internet like that. That must have been either planned or they didn't know what it was going to become. What do you think about that, Sean? Why the internet exists? Because if to prove that theory, they would have to make a monumental mistake or some type of psyop.
Well, I got 1800s artistry, authentic artistry of what we're doing now, video chatting. So, in my opinion, this isn't new. It's just been shunned. And you have to understand, man, we're taught on a mainstream level that before the I could probably say that before the 1900s started, there we had nothing. We didn't have anything ever.
The slow progression concept instead of the crashing up, or as we're probably speaking, the hidden.
It's not even that. It's just the fact that the actual mainstream story for the world is that before the 1900s started, we didn't have a damn thing to our name. We were just a bunch of idiots with horses. We don't know how to do anything. Yet we can build these in a year. But it's weird because nothing exists. And then within 50 years, everything, all the inventions from as small as power tools to as big as airplanes, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all this stuff, video cameras, pictures, all this stuff. It all it's just there now, right? The past 50, 60, 70 years, it's just, we have everything now. And we look and we're taught that, well, we had none of this back then. And I don't agree with that. I think that they knew that our ancients had all of this stuff plus more to come in our lifetime that was already out. But it's the way that they release it to the public a little bit at a time. They want to feel like they invented it. They made something and they're powerful now. Look what we invented, the television. Man, there's a book called The Iron Republic. It was published in 1902, but I think it was the actual first-hand eyewitness testimony was accounted for in the late 1800s. A man and his crew got in a ship. They were tired of the tyranny in the States. Sounds familiar, but they got in their ship and they just took off, man. It's something that we should all be able to do. We can't anymore, but he just took off. This is before any United Nations treaty and before Admiral Byrd, before anybody. And they took off and they got lost by sea. He documented everything word for word, and he stumbled upon a new continent. And they called themselves the Iron Republic. And these guys were very tall. Let's put it that way. These people were large. They're super nice. They already had advanced technology. They had Bluetooth. They had electric cars. They had electric crafts. People call them UFOs. They're electrostatic crafts. They were in the book. Again, you could be like, oh, that's just a fantasy book, Hibbeler. Even if it is, I don't think it is. I think it's true. But even if to someone goes, yeah, it's a fantasy book, why are they talking about more land past Antarctica? Why are they talking about flat screen TVs on the wall? Why are they even talking about this stuff?
Yeah.
Even if it was fake.
Right.
How and why are they talking about all these things that never existed, but now we have all this stuff? It's because it was already here. Whether it's here in the unpopulated country of America, because no one really lived here, I could prove that, or it was from an outer land, somewhere else, some other civilization, thousands of miles south of us. I don't know. But I do know that it seems as if it was already here. All this technology already existed, and they wanted to be these power, New World Order, man. That's why it's the Old World Order. Because it was much better. We lived in harmony, free energy. I'm sure the water was free. It didn't have fluoride in it. All this stuff started when the New World Order started. And in my opinion, New World Order started once all this started, man. My opinion is right after the reset. If we had one, it was around the early 1800s. Possibly a second one occurred. But I don't know. A lot of people think it was natural, like God just reset the whole world or something. Now, that's possible. Maybe if you're vibrating low, the whole world's vibrating low, which is like nowadays, maybe something naturally could happen. But I don't really fall in line with the natural one. I fall, and again, I don't rule it out, but I fall in line with this was orchestrated. Okay. Whether it's bad giants, whether it was just bad humans, whether it was both, whether it was reptilians, I don't know who or what or exactly when. But I do know that there's raw evidence that not only were our cities in this country already built, but didn't have any human beings in them to begin with. I have empty photos of a lot of cities in the mid 1800s. There's no one in sight. There's no people. You see all of San Francisco built, and most of it's old world. Okay, all of it built out, and this is panoramic views, and somehow high quality too. Well, I wonder what kind of cameras they actually use.
That's
Right,
so true.
and you don't see a human being, a vehicle, nothing. So how is San Francisco fully built and no one lives there? And
The sewer systems are also like super crazy. Like very
and the
interesting.
underground tunnels, they're all
Yeah.
built. They're already built. So who built these underground tunnels that connect these old world buildings to one another? Well, let me guess. That was done in 6 months, right? It's just like none of it makes sense. And there's too many photos of them digging up train tracks, digging up buildings, and that's why you see these buildings. You go, why is there a door arch on the bottom of the building that goes all the way down? Who? Wait, and he won a contest? This guy sucks. Who would build this without a foundation? And the excuse, like, I'm gonna pick on Johnny because there's not many people that act like that about it. Well, you're just trying to, and I'm not talking shit. I love them, but they're just trying to get sunlight into the basement, and it's like that's not how you build a basement. Number one, number two, you don't have a door there. It's a doorway, and not only is it a doorway, it's a doorway fit for a 20-foot person. So, what would be the point, and why cover it up with a new level? Well, no, they didn't cover it up. The earth, the oceans, the tides, the land, everything rose, and we're living on a new level playing field, guys. And the level playing field is hiding what was here because it's underneath. It's under the ground. They find temples, ruins under the ocean. Did someone go down there and build those? Like, what are you talking about? Those were there, and something happened. Now,
I totally 1 second, Sean. I totally agree with you. Like all these discoveries, all these archaeological discoveries that they keep saying, they're in digs. It's in digs. Oh, we have to dig down. Oh, we found this bathhouse, and we have to dig down. This an Ethiopian temple, that one where they had to dig all around. Like, why is this all buried? Everything is buried. Everything is buried.
So is our true history.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to act like I'm going to be able to uncover this in one film. I might have to do 3 films on this topic because, to try to compress all this information into 60 or 90 minutes is, number one, impossible. But number two, that's not my job. It's not my goal. My goal is to make a film that raises questions, make a film that proves the deceptions, and make a film that basically is walking you to these new doors that you can go through now. I can't make someone go through these doors. I'm just going to set this film's going to be a 101 of our old world. I don't really say Tartaria often because that's just one empire. And I feel like people say, you hear about Tartaria? I'm like, yeah, that's one of many empires. Well, what about them? So the old world is not summed up by the word Tartaria. Not at all. Wow. Tartaria was where Russia is now. Go ahead, look at Russia's flag. They're the only country that's showing you in plain sight that they're putting a knife into the griffin's throat. The griffin, whether that creature was real or not, it looks like dragons were from my research, but the griffin itself is so hidden. It's so no one knows what a griffin is the point, right? So if they hit them and they took them off buildings and they altered griffins' faces to make them look like Egyptians, there's a lot of evidence of this stuff. But my point is, if the griffin was our past empire's number one source of symbology, well, that's why you don't see them anymore. So there is a building in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I advise everybody to look it up. It's a national insurance building, and that's one of the only. It's not a big building. It's an old world building. It's not huge. But it's one of the only untouched Tartarian buildings I've ever seen in the world. And they didn't even take the griffins off. They didn't even take the colors of the Tartarian Empire off. It is completely legit and authentic and organic. And I feel like because it's in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, they're just like, whatever. But again, you have to ask yourself, why is this type of building in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin? And why is that same type of building struck, the White House looking buildings with pillars and all that stuff?
Yeah.
That is everywhere in the world, guys. In Hong Kong and Korea. It's not like they have their version of it. It's the same fucking thing everywhere in the world, and all of them have half windows and half doors in the bill. Something happened then, and they covered it up, and I think they did a brilliant job of covering it up. But consciousness is shifting. There's nothing they can do from here on out to stop this from getting out. Nothing they can do.
That's what they found out in Operation Looking Glass, that they realized that they cannot change the future, that this is coming. And and they're losing it, but well, then
so how many resets do you actually think we had? Like, and as in a reset, what is your what do you think a reset is?
Again, I don't know about any of it. I wasn't there. But
what is your speculation?
Yeah, of course. That's what anyone, no one else can do anything else, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing I speculate really on a reset is, like I said before, is I feel like it was man-made resets where, because there's old articles. I'm not showing anyone now what the film's for, but there's stuff back in the day of them discussing these machines, direct energy weapons, discussing how they do it. And it's basically lenses, multiple lenses compressed into one lens, and they pull the sunlight, and through the lens, they create a laser beam, and everything in the world will be torched from that machine besides the color blue. And I think that's because God knew man's plan and the technology we could try to come up with. But so God wants to make sure that
we can't get out.
That nobody can pierce the firmament above or the oceans below. What color is that? So I just feel like it's not an accident that the only color that cannot be penetrated with the most dangerous machine ever invented is blue. So it makes sense to me, but in terms of the actual weaponizing itself, they've been doing this for a long time. I don't know. I've read articles that said that this machine was used for good at one point. I don't know how. I'm still looking that up, but like all elite pedophiles do, they reverse engineer good stuff to make it bad. How do they do that? Same thing with temples or cathedrals. Now they're called temples and cathedrals. Those buildings were never meant for religions ever. That's something that came later, obviously. But those buildings were actually used for your energy to go into these buildings and heal your body, which is why the organ was called an organ, because it was cleaning your organs. They would tune these organs to a certain frequency that a human being can go in there and clean their body and be as the healthiest they've ever been by the time they get home. They also had wireless technology where they basically would harmonize the community with frequencies, right? Which is what we are. We're energy, and we vibrate based on frequencies, which is what the elite has tried to do in reversing that. Now you go into these temples, and what are they doing?
They take it away.
They're harvesting energy. They reverse engineer it. People go, what are they doing? Well, I don't know how to break it down, but it's more, you got 100 people going blah 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 all at the same time, and your energy is being used for deception. The energy itself is coming out of you. You could say, I won't even pick on church people. Let's call it a sports arena.
Sporting event.
Yeah, sporting event. You got, 75,000 people all. That's energy draining. And I don't know that a lot of these people are telling me now that, they found a way to reverse engineer that. I still doesn't make sense to me, but I'm working on that they can use our energy against us, and they're already doing that. It used to be the opposite. It used to be using our energy, helping our energy, healing us. It baffles me, man, because it's true. It's like all this stuff's true. They covered all this stuff up, and people want to fight it because they already went to school. They don't want to unlearn all that. They don't want to think that
they have a degree. They paid like a couple $100,000 for it, and now they're in debt for the rest of their life. Of course, that has to be true. I got you.
Yeah, when people say, "Oh, I went to college," I'm like, "You paid extra for a Rockefeller premium package." That
or a Rockefeller indoctrination.
All this stuff was here. All this stuff was here, and they showed off a lot of their electricity, their free electricity. They showed it off in the World's Fairs. The modern home, I don't think, had electricity till the 1900s to begin with. But you talk about mid 1800s, late 1800s, they're lighting up fairs brighter than downtown Chicago now.
Yep.
How? Right? How? And it's because it already existed. No one invented electricity. No one invented outlets. What they did was they took the already ancient civilization's technology and they found a way to pull what's the word I'm looking for? Pull energy from the ether.
Yeah.
And instead of just wirelessly transmitting it like you should for free to everybody, they look in your town now. There's going to be a pole that has all the ports going to all your outlets in your community. They're doing the same thing. If you want to know how it's done, go look. Like you'll see these. I forget. I just tip of the tongue. I forgot what they're called, but that's exactly what's going on. They're doing that is a Tesla thing, right?
Like the big huge power poles, like those big huge
power lines,
right? And you look at the top,
like the big huge ones, the metal ones.
You look at the top of them. It's the same thing as all ancient buildings had. They're they're pulling it from the ether, and it's coming down. And instead of going wirelessly to the world, they're capturing it underground.
The spires, you mean?
They're putting it on smart meters, hooking them up to your homes with electrical outlets. None of that's necessary. Santos Bonacci, I don't even think he has outlets right now. I think he's been on this Tesla coil for a long time. You can have a Tesla. You can do this stuff yourself until someone knocks on your door, your electricity company, and threatens to take you to court at that point. And then hopefully you go to court and win because this is free energy. We don't need to pay for it. It's as stupid as going to your grocery store and buying water. Water's free, dude. Like what? Like I get that.
Here you kind of have to,
they force you to pay for it because your sink water's fluoridated. So that's why we go pay for bottled water. Just because the free stuff will kill you or make you dumb, at least at a minimum.
Yeah.
So that's why people like us, we still go pay for cleaner water. We shouldn't have to, is the point. Our sink water. They got the right idea, though. Our sink water is free, at least most people. I rent, so maybe that's why I don't own anything. But, it's always been free. Water's included, right? It's just the way rent is. But it's because, it's fucking free. What do you mean? It's water. Are you kidding me? But, they put so much poison in there that it forces you to pay for it. And even then, you're paying for plastic. You're paying for, whatever's inside. We don't really know at the end of the day. It's just sad, man. We live in a sad world now, where everyone pays for stuff that's free. And I'm just sick of it, man. I really hope that this film, Old World Order, will bring questions to the table where even a history major can watch it and go, what the fuck?
So, Sean, you on your website, that's where people can donate to you so you can get this film out faster, or is there like a special way?
If you want just directly, it's owofilm.com. So not NWO, fuck them. owofilm.com. And I'm on Fundraiser. If you like long leaks, it's fundraiser.com/Old World Order. But owofilm.com, you'll see the cast, you'll see what I'm doing, you'll see the trailer. Click the button. $1 will help, guys. You'd think it doesn't, but wow, it does, because it's quantity. I'm not looking to take anyone's money, man. It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, man, if you want to help me out so I can get the rest of these flights done, just throw me a buck. And I always make the joke that, I got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. If half of them gave me 50 cents, half of them donated 50 cents, I'd be above my budget. So it's, I'm not asking anyone to break their bank. We're in tough times. I'm asking you, if you think this topic is interesting, if you want to help me with boots on the ground and sending drones up to see what these structures are, to really dissect this, to really go and talk to some people of these buildings and face to face. I already got some viral moments. I don't even want to do any spoilers right now, but
all right.
Say that the moments I do have with state employees prove what I'm talking about. They have no idea what's going on in their own buildings, and their own stories also confuse them. So, that's all. I mean, it's just gone a little slower, man. It's a little different. My flat Earth films, I put the fundraiser up. It's funded in three weeks. It seems like it's like 20 grand's there before I even wake up the next day, because all the flat earthers are like, Hibbeler, thank God, yes, get this shit out there. We want you to go to Santos. We want you to go see Dave Weiss. We want you to go do all the stuff, because the community is so big and they love me, right? So, but Old World, I thought that was, well, I can't say a bigger community, but it's more of a broader community, meaning that you could still believe in a globe and be into this stuff. I don't see how, but it still exists is the point. So I feel like it's a broader audience. But you know what?
But maybe not quite as passionate.
Maybe. But at the same time, those that are into this topic, and there's a lot of them, you all know that when your neighbor or your cousin or someone comes by and says, well, I always hear you talking about some Tartar stuff. What is this? Oh, no, Tartaria. Oh, the Empire. Oh, they lied. And the neighbor's like, I don't know. What can I watch on this? Nothing. And I mean that, because I have tried this before. I go see John Levi's channel. Go see Old World Florida. Go watch Michelle Gibson. And they don't know what to watch. They don't know what to click. They click on a video. It's too advanced for them. These guys are awesome, but they're too advanced for your neighbor to grasp anything I'm talking about. So this is why I need to make a film on a topic that needs a 101 introduction. And I don't mean a boring, 101. Like, I don't want Old World people to be like, oh, this might be a yawner. No, you're gonna fucking love this. But it's the point of, this is a way to educate someone that you want to educate on the topic, instead of just screaming at them or sharing a TikTok link. That doesn't work for them, guys. I know you're going to continue to do it, and I hope you do, but it's just for the normal person, or even the one trying to awaken, that doesn't really help. What helps is what got them to this point, the programming of movies, TV shows, documentaries from the mainstream. This is why they have this concept. They've watched stuff on History Channel. They don't know what we're talking about. Well, they need to watch a film on this. And this is why I make a film. Now, for my audience and the truther community, you don't ever have to pay for my films. It's always going to be free on YouTube and Rumble. Just give it at least a month when the film comes out. Wait a month. Right. It's going to be on there for free. Yes, it's going to be in standard definition. Sorry, I have bills. But the reason I do the standard definition free version is for you all. It's just for you guys. You guys deserve the truth for free. But your neighbor that's like, where's that film? I want to watch the film. OWOfilm.com when it's out. Because I'm sorry, man, we've been trying to wake you up for 10 years for free. And I'll tell you why they deserve to pay $5 to rent my 4K film. It's not just my hard work that deserves it, and I earn that. It's the point that they will value their purchase. They will pause the film to piss. They won't do that on a YouTube free video. I've seen it with my own eyes. They don't care. There's no passion attached.
I totally agree with that. If you give something away for free, it doesn't have value. But if you sell something, even if it's the same product, you sell it to them for $5, that now has value, and they will actually care for it more.
Yeah, and I hear all the time from business associates of mine that are way more successful than me, that say, dude, $5 is a joke. What are you doing? Your films are worth $15.99, $9.99 at the minimum. You're discrediting yourself. This is amazing, especially with Level with me. They're like, dude, $5, Jesus Christ, how do you eat? And I'm like, it's not about that. It's not about how do I eat. It's just the fact that I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like more people would rent something that's $5 opposed to 10. And that's it. If I thought the other way, I literally would do it based off of those results. It's not about money for me. It's about how can I get a normal person that's flipping through their TV apps. Like, again, Movies Plus. All my stuff's on Movies Plus. Greatest app ever. It's Netflix for truthers, in my opinion. But for instance, someone's on Movies Plus. They got millions of users, normal people, right? And they're looking, oh, what's Old World Order? And they see, oh, okay, it's a history documentary. Oh, let's watch it. Okay, let's rent it. Boom, boom, boom. They're invested now. This is a real film for them, guys. This is not, oh, Hibbeler Productions, conspiracy. No, they don't know anything. They're just seeing this nice film. I do good artwork. My movie posters are always been complimented. I'm not doing anything unprofessional. So they could literally wake up from that, and no one even made them. No one even helped. No one. They don't have a conspiracy person in their family. They just stumbled upon it because this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to distribute, whether it's Vimeo, Movies Plus, even Prime. Prime won't allow it, but I try to do my best to distribute it to every single mainstream platform that can possibly accept it. Tubi, I think Level was on Tubi for a while. I don't know if it's there anymore. I don't get a dime from it, but I don't care is the point. I want the mainstream. I want the society to wake up in the way that they get brainwashed with lies. They just stumble upon it. There's no other way to do it, guys. I have to distribute to other platforms that I have to charge. And I think a lot of these sites is the minimum $5. So that's why I've always been $5, because it's always been the minimums on any platform when you want people to rent your film. And I'm not looking for the truth community to not only donate and then go rent it, but that's just up to you at that point. That's why I don't force anyone to help. You know it's going to be on Rumble and YouTube for free within 30 days of the release. You can wait. But if you choose not to wait, if you want to watch it, you're helping me. So it's a win-win. You're helping me, and you're going to watch it early, and it's going to be in 4K. Those are good things. That people rent movies all the time. But if you're going to judge, I'm not saying you. If the viewer that's watching judges my decisions, you need to refocus on your life, because I guarantee you look at me and saying, hey, man, you shouldn't be charging for your hard work. Let me come into your house, Mr. or Mrs. Truther. Guarantee you got Netflix. Guarantee you got Prime. I guarantee you have one of those. I guarantee you have Spotify. I guarantee you are paying Hollywood with your hypocritical mouth and money, and you're disproving what I'm doing. You know, it just doesn't make sense. If the only people I listen to about you shouldn't charge for your hard work are the ones that don't have any mainstream or Hollywood services. They don't pay for anything like that. Now I will actually take the time and go, all right, I will listen to you. I will respect your opinions. Let's have a conversation now. But other than that, no, man. Yeah,
I got you.
My goal is for everyone to stop paying Hollywood, stop supporting the system that we hate. And instead of that, support people like myself and countless others that are that go out there with a target on their head and don't give a fuck, because we're doing it for you. You know, like I'm not, you think you know how easy I can just go get a sports job, media production, making 6 figures a year tomorrow. I will never do that, guys. I'm sorry. I'd rather struggle the rest of my life as long as I could wake people up. I'd rather do this. I'm sorry.
I look forward to our next adventure together as we navigate the mysteries that lie ahead. Until our paths cross again, keep your curiosity wandering and ensure the light remains lit.